So you've been out looking at homes and you find one that you've absolutely fallen in love with, but so have a bunch of other people. So there's going to be a lot of offers on the house. So how do you structure yours to compete against the others? Of course, you can't control or know what other people are going to be offering, but you can do things to strengthen your offer to put you in the best position to get it accepted. The first aspect is the most obvious, which is the sale price. The higher price you offer, the more attractive it is to a seller. However, especially if you are offering way over asking price, the sellers want to be confident that the house will appraise for that price and that you'll be able to get your financing and move forward with the deal. So a way to strengthen this and take some risk off the seller's plates is to offer an appraisal gap coverage or a complete appraisal waiver, meaning that you can offer to cover a certain dollar amount if the property appraises under your sale price, such as if you offer to cover $25,000 and you would offer it $1 million, it appraises at $975,000, you will be on the hook to cover that $25,000. Which could be done by bringing more cash to the table or shifting money from your down payment, depending on what options your lender says you have. Or if you're very confident that the property is going to appraise and you have plenty of cash on hand to cover potential gaps, you can waive it outright, which means that you'll cover it no matter what price it appraises at. In addition to the appraisal, other ways to strengthen your financing is by putting a larger down payment down. Since the higher the down payment, the more confident the sellers will be that you will get your mortgage and be able to purchase the property. Of course, you can only put down what you can afford to put down, but the higher the better in the eyes of the seller. The financing aspects of an offer are wrapped up in what is called a mortgage contingency. If you have a mortgage contingency on your offer, that means that your deposit would be protected in the event that you can't get your financing for any reasons, such as losing a job or other unforeseen circumstances. In some cases, whether the buyers aren't getting a mortgage altogether, or they're so confident that they will be getting their financing or can afford it in other ways, they can waive this contingency, which means that once the purchase and sale is signed, the buyers are locked into the deal or they're going to put their deposit at risk. Waiving this contingency will drastically strengthen your offer, but you're taking on a ton of risk in the process, so you need to be very, very confident that you'll be getting your financing or be able to buy the house one way or the other. The other main contingency to an offer is the inspection contingency. This has been a highly debated topic for years, especially in areas like Greater Boston, where it got so competitive that it felt like on almost every property, people were waiving inspections in order to get their offer accepted. That's something that's very difficult for many buyers to take on, buying a house without having it inspected first. So a way to kind of get the best of both worlds is to do a pre-offer inspection. So assuming the listing agent and the seller are okay with it, you can do a 1 hour kind of quicker version of an inspection where you look at the big things, get a good look into what you're getting yourself into, and assuming the inspection goes well, you can then submit your offer with the contingency waived, meaning that you'll be moving forward with your offer not contingent upon any findings in the inspection. Sellers like to see this as well because they'll know you've done your due diligence and that you're very confident in what you're buying, and it makes you look even more serious to them. If you don't waive the home inspection contingency, you can still strengthen it by writing in a dollar amount of necessary repairs or updates that you're willing to take on. For example, you could include a dollar amount of $10,000, which is essentially saying that you're looking for kind of big ticket items. So if a bunch of small things add up, you'll probably be fine with it. But if you find an issue with the roof and the whole roof needs to be replaced and that'll be $15,000, then at that point you could either back out of the deal and not lose a deposit, or potentially renegotiate with the sellers if they're open to reducing the price, giving a credit at closing, or doing work before closing. And moving on to the next aspect of a strong offer, give the sellers whatever closing timeline they want if you can. Selling a house and packing up and moving on to another one is very difficult, so if the sellers need maybe 60 days to get everything done and that works for you, that can go a long way to getting your offer accepted. Flexibility is key, so if you can give them breathing room, they'll really appreciate that. And another way to do that is to offer a use and occupancy agreement if the sellers would like one. And what that means is that you would close on a certain date, so the money's been transferred, the deed's been transferred to you, but the sellers can stay in the property essentially as tenants until an agreed upon date. This can be massive for a lot of sellers because it'll give them the time to get the money from their sale. If they're buying another house, then purchase that house and move everything over there rather than trying to buy, sell, and move all on the same day. Long story short, the more you can do to reduce the seller's risks and make their life easier for their move, the better. These are just a few aspects of the offer process. So if you're looking to buy soon and are feeling lost, give me a call and I can guide you through the process.